Well, hi, Floral friends, and welcome back. We are so excited because we have finally reached the finale of HBO Max's Full Bloom. Oh my god, I am so excited to finally be at the finale. We're here in our finale best because they didn't let the contestants get dressed up before awarding a winner, which, ma'am,
it was weird.
If you're gonna give me $100,000, let me look my best, okay?
I want a big old check, and I want to have my jewels on. I want to live the fantasy, and I want it to be like motorized. I was that girl.
So we decided to get dressed up to our best, get our champagne, our caviar champagne, and toast to the finale.
Cheers
of
to
Full
the
Bloom.
final and the winner.
So the gag is, though, well, I have to take a sip after taking cheers first. Delicious. Otherwise, it's bad luck. But the gag of the finale is there's 3 go in, only 2 get to the final challenge. So first, the personal task, even though they're all kind of personal tasks in this episode because there's just 2 of them on the last. But the personal task is they have to do a signature bouquet for the Books company, a drop ship flower company.
It does do farm direct. It removes the florist, it removes the wholesaler, it removes everyone. People know I don't need a wholesaler to survive.
Same.
However, to support a company that removes the florist that you are literally trying to celebrate, wild to me.
It was very wild to me also.
Neat.
Yeah.
It was
neat.
interesting.
It's an
interesting experience. As you can tell by our pauses, it is just an odd choice.
I have very mixed feelings about it because these are the same companies that have been putting out local florists out of business for years. And so it's an interesting partnership for a show like this that is celebrating floristry. However, at the same time, I can't take away from the fact that for the winner of this challenge to have something, a feature on that can go out nationwide with their name on it, that is a really cool honor.
So let's talk about the task.
So it's mixed feelings.
The task is you are to make a signature The Books bouquet. It is the winning bouquet will be featured on the Books.com website. I hate seeing Books so much. The loser goes home. Of the 3, whoever has the bottom bouquet, you're not in the final.
Which I'm so finally here for. Like, bye.
Yeah. And it has to have a celebratory theme. It has to be an overarching. Can it go to any kind of event to celebrate? And it must fit in the Books box.
But I also love, though, that they straight up don't shy away from the fact that a lot of the Books bouquets arrive with flowers that are less than ideal, in less than ideal condition. Because a part of the whole challenge is making something that is going to be hardy and it's going to be able to travel and things like that because, you can't get everything from them.
Yeah. So they have 1.5 hours, 1.5 hours, and that is a bonkers time for a single wrapped bouquet. We can do that, in 5 at the shop? Least. And that's getting to the cooler, back, wrapping it up, and out.
Now, here's what I say. They do have to, they want it to be ready to, just go right into a vase and all fit in the box. So, it may take a little finagling, but an hour and a half is still a long
So let's get into
It's time almost to, overthink and mess it up.
And overwork your flowers.
So let's get into it. First we have Ace and Ace's design right here. He chose just a mason jar. That was another thing. They got to, I'm pretty sure they chose with Ace but it had to be fit into the thing. I don't know, maybe not.
I was I wasn't there for that.
Because I thought some of them had different vases.
They had different vases. It just had to be the bouquet had to fit into the box. The vase was whatever you chose.
So, I think that has to fit in the box too because that usually goes with
the vase wasn't in any of the boxes.
Okay. Well, this is why there's 2 of us. But I think that Ace's design, it's alright. It's lovely. Yeah. It's got some equinox. It's got, I love those. It's got a nice kale here. It's got stuff that isn't your typical daisy. It's not your typical what you think of a drop shipper. So for that I'm here for. There are things that I question why he put in there. The judges were really questioning his delphinium. That's not one of them that I questioned because I have delphinium. Although
we work with it all the time,
and although it may droop somewhat, like quicker than most flowers, it rehydrates well. The one that I'm a little like about is the Belle of Ireland, because like those don't necessarily perk up as easily. Like they do sometimes when they're fresh.
When they dehydrate them.
But yeah, it's that was an interesting. I don't know. It's lovely. I like the colors. I like the jewel tones. It's a nice shape. It's got good greens. I love the Fatsia. It's a bloom.
Oh, it's a bloom for me. It's like Matt was saying. It's got really good color. It's got great texture. I could send this to anybody for a birthday, for a baby shower. It is so multifaceted in the color and texture. I really also appreciate the depth. A lot of drop shippers, it's kind of within the same realm of a level, and then a couple things coming out. The Bells of Ireland does kind of, I question that a little bit. Maybe it's our Midwest thing. Remember, flowers come from all over the place, and they are interacting different ways. Delphinium, we literally use the blooms independently, glued into things, and they last a long time.
Yeah.
They dry very well. So I thought that was weird. Maybe a little bit more closed. They do get them beautiful flowers that are open. Maybe a little bit more closed so that they can develop. But bloom, it's a beautiful bouquet.
Now we have Justin. I'll let you start.
This is exactly what I expect from a high school student trying to make a bridal bouquet in a design competition meant for inexperienced designers. And this is exactly what I was saying for the opposite of aces. Everything's on the same level. The box is gonna smash these roses. These carnations are the heads will break. Nothing actually really supports each other in that mess. Because once this goes, all these things tear and go. The billy balls are gonna survive because they're billy balls, and the slough makes no sense.
You got a pin cushion over here that is going to get entirely smushed and damaged.
So it's a prune for me. Again, this is reiterating, I don't know why he is in that top 3, because skill set. And it's not that, again, he's a bad designer. It's just not the right level of skill to even be here.
Justin is in over his head, and this is a very clear indication of that he doesn't have the knowledge to be doing what he's doing. It's a prune for me too.
Bad.
Yeah. And we have Connor, and I will go ahead and start with this one. I love it. It's a bloom for me. It's gorgeous. It's got his selection is really wise.
Smart. It's so smart.
He's got stuff that will full on dry wonderfully. He's got some stuff that the cows, they don't dry, but they last a long time.
They can be malleable with dehydration.
They've got, he's got the beautiful, this gorgeous, the variegated Fatsia in there, which is on point, and is a great way when you're doing things, bouquets like this that need to go into a box, that need to get wrapped up, wrapping them with tropical foliage, whether it be Fatsia, Monstera, anything like that's big and hardy, is a really wise decision, because you can put that into the box. It can act as like packing for your own bouquet to protect your blooms. This is a bloom for me. I think he did a great job.
This is a bloom for me. He was the only designer to think about sympathy as a celebration. I celebrate death. It's the only thing that's guaranteed in this world. And so for that smart thought process of, I could send this for a birthday, but also to a funeral, that is a next level thought design. That is a designer that is thinking past the sellability.
100%.
I agree with Matt with the foliage. This is a really smart move. It pulls up and it shelters. Almost everything in here can dehydrate and be fine. I think everything can. It's gorgeous. I think this is very much what I would do. The colors are good because this is also gender neutral colors. Nothing in here says feminine. Nothing says masculine. It's a bloom.
It's great. Celebratory, but not over the top anything. He did a great job. And as of because of that, he made it on. Justin was eliminated here at the first personal task, which I agree with. I think he actually should have been eliminated a few episodes prior to that. If we're spilling the real tea here, but
I have no time to be diddly-daddling around. This is the honesty. If you can't stand the honesty and you're not mature enough to handle it, bye.
Justin was not at the same level, the same caliber as some of the other designers who I think would have made such an amazing impact on these last few challenges.
Yeah.
And so it kind of upsets me a little bit.
It comes back to that disappointment.
Yes.
Before we get into the group challenge, what are you putting in your Books bouquet? What is the Coach Blind Florals?
Mine is going to look somewhat similar, of like a mix between Connor's and Ace's. I'm using, small Monstera or the Fatsia to shelter my arrangement. So, for shipping, I've got Crispedia, I've got Protea, I've got some Orangia and the Echinops in there. It's that I may even include some dry florals.
Yeah,
because
I'm surprised there was no dried florals, but I don't think the Books, because it comes from Farm Direct, they really feature dried florals. So
well, then I wouldn't have
be the first,
florals.
Or be the first, But it would be in that range, and I would probably go in the blues, greens, oranges, yellow, very gender neutral, could be celebratory of really anything. Yeah.
And I think that's the way to go.
I think my bouquet would be I would go more calm, refreshing. Any celebration can have bright colors, but I want it to be chill, like a blue, green, and white vibe. And I want it to be kind of the same thing. I love thistle. It's on my arm. It's one of my favorite flowers. Any kind of thistle, or the epinosis, or however you say it. I would like to see other textured foliage. We know that flower room has everything. Of course, I would have delphinium. I would probably keep it a little bit more closed. I would find something a little bit more even dehydrated itself, because I know it can hydrate. But yeah, I would go more blues, whites, and greens, because again, gender neutrality is very important. It could go to a funeral. It could go to a wedding. It could do anything as a present. Or if someone was just buying this bouquet to have a porch wedding kind of vibe. So what is a celebration could be anything calm and clean. So that's my vibe.
Here for that.
So let's get into this group challenge. It is fabulous. Oh, I changed the thing wrong. It is rooms. They are taking a big room with a bloom, and they have to...
It's the full bloom room.
They have identical white spaces, ceilings, and everything. They're on a ranch, so it captivates me how they're able to use the elements of this place so well. So they both have these big rooms. They didn't really tell the specifications of the size of the room, but she's
so big,
deep. Transform the space into an immersion. It has to be able to encapsulate people into your story of who you are and what it's about. So you have to have a story, and people have to get it when they're in it. Ceiling, floor, and walls must be incorporated. That doesn't mean it has to be covered. You just have to be able to have florals from the floor to the ceiling in some fashion. And you have to design a signature arrangement that will be the heart of the room encased in ice, which I was here for.
I'm so here for that.
Living for the fantasy. And
what a fun challenge.
They were given 2 days. However, as you know, this is reality TV, so that could be 16 hours across the whole board. That could be 24 hours and then you don't sleep.
It could also be like, you do a 12-hour day and then you've got 4 hours day 2.
To finish it off. So while it says 2 days, we don't know. We don't know the fantasy. They did get to select their flowers for their room and their storyline. So let's get into it.
I'm really excited. So first we have Team Ace, which was just Ace.
Yeah, there's no team challenge because there's only 2 left.
Kind of weird to me that they bring in other people to help the designers. They do bring in people to help these designers. I don't know. There's a part of me that was like, why aren't you bringing back the eliminated designers?
That's one of my favorite parts of other reality TV shows is when you get to bring back 2 people to be part of your team.
Exactly. Because then also, not only do you have a little bit of the added dramatics of ooh, what already went down in this competition.
Yeah.
But then you also have the knowledge of who these people are and what they're capable of and what you can trust them with to do for you. And in this situation, it was just random help.
They have random assistants with no connection other than maybe part of the crew. We have no clue who they are, but they were each given 5 helpers. And there's plenty of contestants to fill those spots.
Exactly.
Some are really good with color, some are really good with mechanics, some are really good at stepping back and editing. So very strange.
Very strange.
That they're just completely gone and they never existed. So this is the broken. Ace chose to symbolize how he was broken and has evolved and has healed. He was the only person to actually use sensory in his immersion. In the very back of the room, again, you can only get so many photos with the camera guys. In the very back of the room, behind his heart, is an actual floral heart that had the beat of a heart. I love that. As designers that have created to smell and other senses, when you can get someone actually immersed in a sense that is not expected with flowers, bomb. The color harmony was pretty. It's very soft. But we do know that Ace's favorite color is pink, which I think is smart because this is your story. This is who you are. And to celebrate as a straight, big, what is his saying? Big and sexy and something else. To be a big, straight guy from Texas and say, this is my color. This is my fantasy. I love it. The room is beautiful. I give this a huge bloom. It makes me want to walk to the back. It makes me want to get into it. There are elements that I wish could be more. Like there is a lot of exposed white that kind of breaks me up compared to other spots. But she's beautiful.
It's a bloom for me too. I loved Ace's room. I loved as you're just getting down on that.
The pearls. We have little candy pearls, and they're really good.
As you work your way into Ace's room, there was also a big heart in the back, and there was one of the sounds was it beating, and it was just so magical, really magical. And I would love to be able to experience it in person. However, I didn't. But I think he did such a great job. It's Garrett said, it is a very soft color palette. I personally would maybe like to see it turned up a little bit more, but I get that this is Ace's. This is his identity. Yeah. This is who he is. But maybe I don't know. Maybe it's also just the lighting, some more fuchsia or like a brighter pink in there.
Yeah,
would have been nice to me. But this is who Ace is, and it's beautiful. It's definitely a bloom for me. I love the Aromaris hanging down. I think it's like super.
So this is actually a path that pulls you down that mimics this actual path. That is an attention to detail.
Yeah.
That while you can't see it, I love that.
Yeah. So we're moving into Connor's room next. And he did Life and Death. I'm gonna go ahead and start. I loved Connor's room. I bloom it. It was so beautiful, and it's the way that he did kind of a separation, and the multi-tonality of it. I really dug. He's got a lot of dried flowers and a lot more like the hardy grasses and proteas and the hanging teddy bear heliconias and things like that. And I'm all about it. He did have some, I feel like, scale issues working through it. He kept having to be told to turn it up.
Yeah.
And I feel like, in the finale, you should just automatically know that and automatically be going for it. But I think what he did is super successful. I love it. It's a bloom.
I bloom this. This is probably going to be how dare she? It's a soft bloom because to me, it's missing a wow factor. It's beautiful and it's a wow. But take away this lighting and the floral design. What is she? The lighting does a lot for me, but when you're going to get someone that has a heartbeat and has it doesn't tell me the story of life and death as much as I would like. I get warm and cold. That's where I'm at. I love this design. Don't get me wrong. There's really nice details. The heliconia tree was strange because there's just heliconia throughout the whole entire thing hanging instead of pulling it into one central thing. The heliconia tree didn't really pay any cut. So for those that don't know, there's a tree somewhere here, and then the heliconia goes through the whole entire thing into the blue and everything. So there's edit issues for me, and then it's just a lot of mass of if you took the lights away, what does that mass really look like? It is nice though.
I feel you. Connor's product usage was more exciting to me than Ace's was.
Yes.
And that's something that I feel like is a big reason of my I love the texture, the textural changes. He's got, these carnations that are strung and then, kind of garlanded together. Those are going all throughout the whole design, and I really like that. There's texture. It's the textural response that really that's like my thing anyway.
Yeah.
And so that's what really why Connors resonates with me so much more so than Aces.
Yeah.
Not that Aces is not a beautiful design, because it's incredible.
I'm like the opposite, where I'm like, they're both rooms with mass in them.
Yeah.
Ace takes me to sensory, where this to me is just another room of mass. It needed just that step over. It needed that step over of what's the element that is like ties to who Connor is. It doesn't tell me that story. It tells the story of
totally
his
tells
mom
me
for me.
who Connor is.
It doesn't for me. So that's why it is beautiful and it's a soft bloom. But for me, I don't look at this.
One of my favorite parts of his design, Connor's design, is the spot that he had, like little pitcher plants and everything going up. Like I loved that. Like he had little tableaus throughout, and I liked that. But I understand what you're saying. However, disagree.
I disagree with you.
So that's it. That's
so let's talk about these rooms. How you got a big white box. You got a big white box. You can pick whatever flowers you want. Well, you can request. You don't know if you're going to get them. What are you using? What is in this room?
She's got a little bit of everything. Like,
what's your story that you want to tell of your floral?
My story is a story of art and beauty.
Oh, she's opulent.
She is going to be somewhat curated.
Okay. But
still an immersive piece.
Yeah.
Think of walking into a museum, but not like the full, like a contemporary museum, and not the full museum, like the curated wing of a special exhibit.
Very selective.
Yes.
But modern, expressive.
That is what my room is.
Fun. Mine is, because I love immersion. We have designed things where people walk into it and it's the scent that's designed to it without a single flower that smells or has a scent. So I'm all into that immersion. I want to go from solid color to white, or white to solid color. I want you to experience being pulled into the room and then have something at the end that grasps you.
I feel like white to solid color would work better to pull in.
But I want you to be physically like I'm interacting with this room. So I thought the challenge was interesting. It's hard not to just have a bunch of mass in a room and that's it.
I also like the shape of the rooms. I like that they're not a square. They're these like long rectangles, and I feel like that's exciting.
And the open ceiling with the bars is really nice because you can still make a canopy kind of vibe. Absolutely.
It's much more than just like, oh, here's your box, design it. You know?
Yeah. Here's a room, staple some stuff to the wall.
Exactly.
So who's your bloom of the week?
My bloom of the week is, it's Connor's room design. I love Connor's room design. I thought Connor did a fantastic job. I think Connor deserved to win this competition based on what I saw in this series. He went from kind of being the quiet underdog to really finding his voice, being proud of his voice, and really taking ownership of it.
Yeah.
And I do feel that it is represented in his final design. So mine's Connor. I think he did a great job. Ace, I love you. I think you did a fantastic job too. But like, I think the judges made the right call in, spoiler alert, giving Connor the W.
Yeah. The rooms were fine. They were whatever. I think Connor's bouquet is my bloom of the week because
what a random thing.
Because the rooms were whatever to me. It was like
it's going to be amazing at that scale.
It's going to look great
with two talented designers.
The stories were fine. Connor's, to me, my experience, I don't experience it. Also, this is a design that is immersion. We're not immersed in it. We just see the pretty pictures of it. But that bouquet, I can instantly see the 10 different ways it's going to be used. I can see any age group appreciating it, or any kind of sex. And it was one of those designs that, while it's just a bouquet that's going to be on a website, I've already seen on social media to this point multiple people buying it and sharing it because it's an everyman design. And so that is my bloom of the week, because it stands alone, where these are going to be pretty or whatever. I don't think the story's as strong as you do, but that's my experience of it.
Fair enough.
So
That's it. That's full bloom. That's
that is
it.
the finale.
Connor won $100,000, and then
got a beautiful wedding ring for his
proposed
fiance
to his manses.
Got specially made ring for it, and we're excited to see the pictures of that.
Connor and your gentleman.
But also congrats to Ace for making it to the final, because how many times have we seen America's Next Top Model or Bake Off? You ain't gotta be the winner to succeed. It is the work you put into afterwards.
And Ace did such a solid job throughout this competition. He came in knowing who he was. He took the judges' criticisms into consideration. Even though they weren't necessarily his design aesthetic, he adopted them and gave them what they wanted, enough to come all the way to the finale. And I think it was his adaptation.
It was Beth at the very beginning, be like, now that I know your taste level.
Well, how many times did we say up until Beth was eliminated that we saw Beth in the finale?
But when Beth stumbled, she stumbled hard. When Beth stumbled, it was as a leader on a design. But also, while they may love gay people and why they may support gay rights, it's a hard experience. It's a hard experience, I think, for heterosexual people to express. And so you can support and you can show your love, but when it is an expression of the gay experience or what you want to celebrate about gay people, it is very difficult going against two gay people. And you could tell that the polls weren't working out, and it flustered her. So the top three, she wasn't it, but the top two was right there. And I saw Ace, and in my fantasy, all along, Connor was somewhere in that mix. Ace is great with color. For people that don't know, he's a tropical man. He does really amazing tropical design. And so it wasn't surprising to me that he knew color. It was just expressiveness, how to create layers, how to get texture and stuff. So so that's it, folks. Make sure to tell us, what was your bloom of the week? But also, hold up, wait a minute, what was your whole bloom of this whole entire
bloom of the series?
Getting deep, folks. Do you want me to go first?
Yes.
About it? Adam's Fantasy Tree is my bloom of the series. The color, the execution, and the technical skill put into it. So robbed. But the skill and the design was amazing. So my overall bloom for the full bloom season 1 is Adam's Fantasy Tree.
God, there were so many great designs.
Do you want me to give you 2?
No, I think honestly up there, because it's just the one that my brain keeps going back to, is Beth's suspension design.
Oh,
the really colorful suspension design. That's like, I'm thinking back of all these designs in my head, and that's the one that keeps popping up and keeps popping up and keeps popping up. So I think that means that's
like one of my top 5.
That's up there, because it's such a good design. The color story was fantastic. The texture was great.
Go follow all these designers. I'm not going to tell you all their names. You can find them yourself on the internet. But they are talented designers doing different things. Some people are making luxury flower products. Some are doing nothing. Some are doing the same Instagram thing, and they're just kind of basic. So go follow these people. Show them the love. If you want basic floral design, go follow the basics. You want really fascinating things, go follow Connor and Kristen and Ace and Beth and Adam. And just support people in this industry. It is a community over competition. At the end of the day, my dollar I'm making does not affect Matt's dollar. My appreciation for what he does is just building the amazing that he does.
There's enough to go around for everyone who's interested to have their piece of the pie and their claim of like their clientele and their identity. And the more that we all work together to make floristry exciting to the masses again, and untrain people from things like the telefloras of the world, the better off we're all going to be. The better off we're all going to have, an educated consumer public that is going to want creative art pieces that are elevating the future of the floral industry. And so I'm really appreciative of HBO and HBO Max for doing this show in the way that they've done it, because it could have been a mess. And they have put a really good focus on the elevation of art.
Floristry is an art. Catch us every Friday, Floral Fridays. This is our last floral observation for a little bit. We are going to be, until the next season comes out of any show, we will be taking a break. We'll be sipping our champagne with our champagne caviar.
But you can join us every Friday on the Floral Today Facebook page for our Floral Friday chats, in which we have guest designers from across the world join us. They pick a topic, we design about it, we chat about it, we spill the tea, much like we do here, just
and
in a different way.
You don't have to be a florist to enjoy it, because we are just chatting. It could be about the holidays, it could be about why we love shoes. It can just a conversation in getting people to just enjoy florals, floral designers, and the products in the industry. So we won't catch you next Monday, but catch you on a Floral Friday.
And that's it, folks. I hope you enjoyed us.
Yeah. Bye.